Joining me today is New Hampshire State Senator Jerry Little. So Jerry, we've been talking about a number of issues in the budget, and I'm going to pivot off one of them. The Senate really pushed a reduction in the business enterprise tax and the business profits tax. And obviously the governor's vetoed that. She cited that as one of the reasons. The Senate, a number of representatives, I think you as well may have mentioned that part of this is supporting an economic environment to attract and retain businesses in the state. So I want to just, was that really what is that what you all are trying to do? And is that the silver bullet, or does more have to be done?
It's not a silver bullet. It's just one piece that needs to be put in place to make New Hampshire a better business environment, and it is, to us, a very crucial thing. First of all, I'm really concerned with the language and the messaging that's coming out of the governor's office with this veto, and continually saying that it benefits only large out-of-state corporations. Frankly, we should be encouraging large out-of-state corporations to bring their capital to New Hampshire, invest it in New Hampshire, so that they create jobs that provide good wages and benefits to the people in the state of New Hampshire. And the language that we're hearing is that we don't have an appreciation for large employers that happen to be headquartered out of state. Ruger comes to mind, one of the major manufacturers and employers in my district is a large out-of-state corporation. I would never speak ill of them or any other company like that in the manner that the governor has. And it's resulting in things like the governor of Texas sending out a tweet that says to businesses in New Hampshire, come see us. Our arms are open. And
we certainly don't want that.
We certainly don't. We don't want that. You know, so we think that there are a lot of things that need to happen. We think the tax cuts and the BPT and the BET rates they're almost infinitesimal. They're very, very slight. The taxes, even at nothing but 2% growth in the state economy for the next decades, and we're certainly expecting better than 2% growth, and our revenue estimates are showing that we can anticipate better than 2% growth. But at 2%, those taxes will continue to take in more year over year, every year moving forward. So it's not as though we're greatly diminishing the revenues that are going to come from there.
If it's so marginal, will it make a difference to the businesses?
It's the message. It's the message that we're sending. Rather than saying we don't like large out-of-state corporations, we're saying come here. We're doing whatever we can to improve the environment, to make this a better place for you. And it's not just taxes that we need to work on. We need to work on electric rates. We have some of the highest electric rates in the country. And in fact, the businesses in my district are saying to me that is the number one thing that we need to address in the state of New Hampshire.
How do we do that?
Well, that's an entire show.
Okay.
But basically,
we'll have you back for that show. But give me the outline of the segments for that show. So
the outline for the segments of that show is that we are part of a region-wide grid, ISO New England, and the energy that we are going to use tomorrow is priced today, and it's based upon a number of factors that I believe augur against the state of New Hampshire, and so it's a very, very difficult situation.
So what are the factors that bode ill for us?
The lack of our ability to significantly influence the decision-making that's being made policy-wise by ISO New England in determining what power is going to cost us. I think is one of the greatest factors that we're facing.
Are we big enough a player to be able to do that? Do we have the independence to be able to do that?
We don't. That's exactly the situation.
Is there something the Senate could do? Is there legislation that could help
Nothing that I've been able to think of yet, but I do spend a lot of time trying to come up with an idea. But
is moving more electricity from Canada an answer to this?
There are ways to do it. Next door in Vermont, they have a direct line and a direct contract with Hydro-Quebec that does allow them to have better rates than we do. They're also part of ISO New England. So they sort of have I think, the best of both worlds.
Well, I mean, would you say this Northern Pass then is something we should look at?
Only if it's structured properly.
Okay.
If there is some way for us to get that sort of deal that they have in Vermont, where we can get below market rates for the state of New Hampshire in return for them crossing the state with that line, then I think we ought to have that conversation, but only if it's a really good deal for New Hampshire and that it moves the needle in our effort to try to get lower electricity costs in the state.
We're going to have to end there, but we'll have that whole show because eventually it'll get really hot in the summer and we'll need to talk about electricity.
Absolutely.